whilst the trends might be, some might be sooner than others in different markets, I actually think a lot of the trends are the same, but at different stages of evolution. So I think, firstly, consumers are becoming much more conscious about having healthy nutrition. And I think that includes things like I've said about, fortifying their bones, boosting immunity, providing vitamins and minerals, and getting more from every meal that they have. Be that when they're pregnant, whether infants, all the way through to healthy aging. So we are seeing, I think we're seeing that trend grow, and having, more nutritious, dense food is really important. I think secondly, and this is really, really important for us, is healthy aging. So health and wellness particularly is really, it's not just people that go to gyms and professional sports people that want more protein in the diet, that want to be more active and have a more active lifestyle. So I think for us, those are really key consumer trends that we're seeing across every market. Provenance is really important. People are concerned about not just food safety quality, but they want to know that their food is safe, but they're increasingly concerned about under what circumstances your food produced, be that provenance. And New Zealand's got great provenance. We are clean, we're green, we have healthy, we look after our animals, we produce things safely, but also sustainability. We've recently released our sustainability report. It underlines the importance of how we look after our environment, how we look after our people, how we look after our animals, reducing things like use of coal, use of how much waste, and more focusing on sustainable packaging. So we think that these are going to be increasingly important to consumers, and are going to impact on the brands that they choose to purchase based on where it's made, how it's made, and the impact on the environment.
So what sorts of new dairy product innovations and NPD is Fonterra currently looking at, perhaps in relation to these trends?
At the moment, they're doing a lot of work on things like sports and active lifestyles, and something called medical and kind of healthy aging. So, for instance, they have created a new formulation for medical nutrition beverages, which has got the highest protein content. But unlike a lot of others, it's not just high protein, but it tastes great, which means that people that are sick and recovering can get a lot of protein. And even if they don't feel like eating, this actually tastes really good. Another trend we're seeing also is in gut health. And we have some great probiotics. We have got two of the world's best probiotics, really focused on gut health, and increasingly gut health impacts on brain health. So these guys are really looking at how we incorporate more protein, more probiotic, and more things like what we call lipids, which help with brain development, into more and more everyday product, not just in advanced, what we call our advanced nutrition areas.
If we move on to some regulatory sort of aspects, so how have the changes to the DIRA and raw milk regulations in 2019 affected Fonterra as the major dairy cooperative in the country?
Look, I think, the New Zealand government is in the process of updating the DIRA registration. We feel this is an opportunity for the government to put New Zealand farmers first, and they are the basis of the co-op. As it stands, however, the legislation has missed an opportunity to tilt the balance back in favour of New Zealand farmers, or at the very least have an even playing field. So we've actually asked the government for some changes, which will give changes to legislation, which will give greater milk price transparency across the industry, so farmers can make informed choices about which processes to supply. We think that's really important. So, they actually understand when they supply what they're going to get in return, and it's consistent across the piece. We have also asked for them to remove the requirement for Fonterra to supply milk at cost to new processors who are focused on exporting. So if anybody comes into this market, wants to take milk and process it and then export it, we are obliged currently to supply them at the cost that we pay for things. So we obviously have to collect it and then on-sell it. And I think a clearer timeline for the full deregulation of the industry is also something that we have asked for, because, we have to build our business, and we have to take a long-term view, just as farmers take a long-term view about what they're going to invest for their intergenerational succession. So I think it's important. We expect the legislation to be finalised in early 2020, so that it's in place for the next season, which starts on the 1st of June next year.
From a wider scope, perhaps, where do you predict the most growth in dairy to occur in the APAC region across the next 1 to 5 years?
Well, I think if you think about categories, I think, things like beverages will continue to grow as people are looking for kind of whole meals that come in a liquid form. So I think beverages is a great opportunity. I think also as we're going to, this pressure to have less sugar will start to impact on the products that people are drinking. So therefore, I think dairy beverages has, a great opportunity to grow in the next 1 to 10 years. As I already said, I think this healthy aging and health and wellness trend is going to continue. And I think as people are looking for more natural, so more, things like the fact that dairy is a natural product, it has natural health benefits, it has all the major food groups, it has carbohydrate, protein, it has fat, it's got 20 vitamins and minerals. It's a superfood by any other description. So how we get more dairy into people's diets generally, but I think particularly through things like beverages and snacking is going to be really important, and a great opportunity right across the region.